An alien race made humans immortal, but it's a life we wouldn't wish even on our enemies. Let's find out what price humanity paid for that gift. A captain of the U.S. Air Force holds a press conference and talks about UFOs. The fact is that several flying saucers were recently spotted over the United States, and they clearly have an extraterrestrial origin. Rob's family lives an ordinary life. The girls, Sarah and Valerie, are playing while their mother sets the table. Soon they all sit down for dinner and say their evening prayer. Suddenly, their house begins to shake, the lights go out, and the walls start to collapse. Sometime later, Rob and his wife regain consciousness and spot injured Valerie nearby. Terrified, Sarah is sitting next to her. They all hug each other tightly. The family realizes that a meteorite has fallen near their home. Rob feels that the surrounding air has become contaminated. And he's right. Valerie's condition is getting worse and worse. Rob can't breathe and falls to the floor. His wife tells Sarah to run away, but she herself feels something black pouring from her throat. The girl hides in a small cupboard, but the poisoned air leaves her no chance of survival. The news shows a report about global warming. The anchor interrupts the broadcast for breaking news. We learn that a powerful explosion has occurred in the small town of Badger, New York. Not a single person has survived. The air is poisoned with some kind of toxic substance. No one is allowed to enter without a protective suit. The cause of this catastrophe remains unknown. Astrobiologist Lauren Stone listens carefully to every word the reporter says. She lives alone, looks unwell, and suffers from depression. Lauren takes a bath and drinks, remembering her childhood. Suddenly, someone knocks on her apartment door. Those are two U.S. sergeants. They demand that the woman come with them immediately. Lauren is taken to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Colonel Roger Emmerich introduces the protagonist to Professor David Santiago, who is also an astrobiologist. It turns out that a meteorite has fallen on the town of Badger. After impact, it shattered into pieces and poisoned the local air. Lauren and David are assigned to enter the contaminated zone and gather all available information about the meteorite. The scientists put on hazmat suits and head toward Badger. On the way, David shows his partner photos of his sons and tells her funny stories from their lives. Lauren doesn't react to his words at all. They reach the epicenter of the explosion. At the site where the meteorite crashed, there's nothing left but a patch of scorched earth. Lauren notices a small red sprout growing from the ground and examines it closely. The woman returns home and studies the photos of the mysterious plant. She zooms in on the image and searches online for all available information about meteorite falls. It turns out that similar incidents have happened before, but this information had been carefully hidden from the public. Eyewitnesses of those events also mentioned some strange poisonous gas. Moreover, they claimed that a strange tree soon grew at the meteorite's crash site, and everything alive around it started to die. The tree was eventually cut down, and life seemed to return to normal. However, the woman who gave the interview later disappeared, or rather, someone got rid of her because she knew too much. Pathologists Maria Bacella and Kid Hurt perform an autopsy on a man named Robert Windsor. He was one of the residents of Badger. We saw him at the very beginning of the film. Lauren and her colleagues watched the procedure live. Robert's skin looks perfectly normal. Too normal. The scientists make the first incision. A black liquid seeps out. At first, it flows out, but then it starts to move back into the body. The cut on Robert's skin heals instantly, and the man suddenly sits up on the operating table. He freezes in place, like a mummy. Terrified, Kid Hurt runs out of the room. They try to talk to Robert, but he doesn't respond to anything. Maria checks his pulse. There isn't one. The man's body is cold. He can't be alive. Maria tells Robert what happened to him. Meanwhile, panic breaks out in the lab. It appears that Robert is not the only one who came back to life. All the residents of Badger now stand motionless, like stone statues, without uttering a single word. News reports soon cover this unbelievable phenomenon. According to every clinical indicator, these people simply can't be alive. In the evening, David notices Lauren and sees that she's feeling terrible. The man wants to help her, but she ignores him. The scientists show photos of family members and loved ones to the people in a state of suspended animation, expecting that this might help them regain at least some emotions. Unfortunately, These methods don't work. Out of thousands of town residents, only 49 have come back to life. The risen people of Badger were right at the epicenter of the explosion. They not only inhaled the toxic gas, but also swallowed a strange substance that was inside the meteorite. Because of this, they mutated into some new form of life. All the risen people turned to face the same direction. Lauren informs Colonel Emmerich that similar events have already happened before. For example, in the city of Chelyabinsk. Back then, the information was successfully covered up. However, the colonel doesn't believe her. During a press conference, the scientists announced that the risen people show no brain activity. They don't eat, sleep, or even breathe. But how do they move? It turns out that unknown compounds were found in their blood and tissues. Their DNA has changed. It's no longer human. Lauren again brings up the fall of the meteorite in Chelyabinsk. Back then, an entire village was burned down to prevent contamination from spreading to other areas. And once again, no one believes her. The woman buys a bottle of whiskey and recalls how her father once took her to some secret place when she was a child. It seems that something terrible happened there. The risen people keep behaving like zombies in a state of suspended animation. Lauren finds a little girl among them. It's Sarah. The scientist brings her a book about distant galaxies. At first, the girl doesn't react to anything, but then she notices the photo of that red sprout on Lauren's phone and grabs her hand. Lauren tells David and Colonel Emmerich about it. It turns out that the risen people are very interested in this plant. They all look to the north, in the direction of Badger. Roger reports that they've found the very same sprout. But there's a problem. It has turned into a gigantic tree of strange shape in just 2 days. It grew exactly at the spot where the meteorite fell. This tree is highly toxic. Now it's clear that it wasn't a meteorite at all, but an extraterrestrial seed. Apparently, it was sent to Earth by some alien form of life. The scientists head to Badger, taking the risen Robert with them. They land not far from the giant tree and drive toward it. Lauren and David stare at the alien plant in shock and disbelief. It is planned to be cut down. Robert sits motionless near the eerie tree for a long time, then suddenly takes a deep breath. His eyes begin to glow blue. The man looks at his hands, touches the snow, and gazes at the enormous tree in awe. He begins to speak, but it's no longer Robert talking. It's the alien he has become. The man claims that he will stay here, as he can't survive in a human environment. The scientists hold an emergency press conference. They realize that an extraterrestrial life form sent its seed to our planet to find a new home. Earth's atmosphere is toxic to the aliens, so their trees are meant to transform it. Lauren's father comes to see her. It turns out that the protagonist has been passionate about science since her childhood. Unfortunately, something went wrong in their family at some point. Lauren isn't happy about her father's visit, and he soon leaves. The woman returns to Badger and speaks with Robert. The alien explains that their home planet has become uninhabitable, and now they've found a new one, planet Earth. That's the only place where their trees can grow and create conditions suitable for their kind. The coordinates of Earth were given to them by a person who calls himself Supernova 94. Robert explains that they are going to colonize Earth, and humanity won't be able to stop them. The thing is that the aliens possess special abilities. They can influence people and control their actions. Robert's power is so strong that he single-handedly overpowers a group of armed soldiers, making them writhe in unbearable pain. The men tear off their protective suits, inhale the toxic air, and die. Some even start shooting each other as if they were hypnotized. Another military group deploys fighter jets armed with missiles to destroy the giant tree. However, even that doesn't help. A massive dome-like structure appears around it, blocking all incoming rockets. The jets return to base. This is another victory for the aliens. The authorities try to locate the person using the nickname Supernova 94, the one who first managed to make contact with the aliens. Meanwhile, strange incidents begin to occur all over the world. People hear mysterious sounds and feel an eerie presence. In some areas, a thick fog or smoke kills everything alive. Numerous explosions take place in India. Nations declare martial law and go into quarantine. All crops die across Asia. It seems the Earth's soil is gradually becoming unfit for life. People around the world pray to their gods, begging for salvation. A journalist's dog runs off into the forest, and the woman searches for it everywhere. Suddenly, she hears terrifying noises and freezes in horror. Lauren watches the alarming news and, for the first time in many years, returns to her childhood home. She finds her old laboratory in a shed, but doesn't open it. The woman isn't afraid of the end of the world. On the contrary, she seems to be waiting for it. Lauren travels back to Badger and once again approaches the enormous alien tree. The alien still stands before it. A small earthquake begins. Lauren hears strange noises coming from underground. It sounds as if new life is emerging down there. The alien thanks Lauren for saving them and reaches out his hand to her. The protagonist suddenly flashes back to her childhood. When she was a little girl, her father once took her to a secret facility. It turned out to be an abandoned laboratory. Inside, scientists were discussing the appearance of an unidentified flying object. Lauren eavesdropped on their conversation, sneaked into one of the rooms, and found a person inside a capsule. Lauren was found unconscious on the floor. The girl's father took her home, but from that moment on, something about her had changed. She became withdrawn, stopped sleeping at night, drew strange blueprints, and called herself an alien who wanted to return home. The girl came up with the nickname Supernova 94 and kept trying to contact extraterrestrial life forms. One day, she succeeded. Traces of a new DNA structure were found in Lauren's blood, and soon she began to show superhuman abilities. In the present, the alien removes her protective suit, and Lauren doesn't die from the toxic air. Tears run down her face as she realizes that she's finally home. Mysterious egg-shaped objects appear all over the world. They emit eerie sounds, and soon each of them opens, releasing massive clouds of toxic gas. Looks like this is the apocalypse. The gas kills all living beings. Earth is no longer suitable for the survival of the human race. All earthly creatures, animals, and plants perish. This is an entirely different world now.